What is going on, guys? Motosmith here once again, and as you can see, I am back in the belly of the bike. So this is just basically me being curious yet again, but for good reason this time. I realize that it's been actually a couple of months since I've done a thorough check of the internals of this bike just to ensure that everything is okay, nothing's burnt out, nothing is where it's not supposed to be. And I thought I would do this quick video before the sun catches me. I have to relocate to the other side of the yard where it's a lot cooler with more shade, because as you can see the sun is already starting to catch the bike. Yeah, so really quick, I just wanted to share some tips that I personally picked up working on my bike myself, that I think you should periodically check every 3 or 4 months just to ensure that you're still riding safe, because the last thing you want is to have your motorcycle experiencing some kind of mechanical or equipment failure, even to a loose screw, a faulty wire, a low hanging wire, anything of the sort, or maybe just, the reactive mechanisms of whatever simple machines you have not functioning properly, just because you didn't, do a quick check to ensure that everything was all right. So, some of the basics that most people check for are the oil level, the coolant level. They ensure that their lights are working, that their mirrors and the visors are well bolted down, that your lights, like the headlights, are well screwed in and they're all good and tight, and that's real good. Other things that you can check to ensure periodically are that your brakes lever doesn't have too much slack. My bike, there's an adjustment dial on it that you could actually change the tension on your brake. But what you really want to have is a quick brake. You want it to stop right here. This is actually race standard, so this is a good practice to keep ensuring that your brakes are well and stiff. If you have a brake that is too relaxed, you never know, in emergency situations you might not have the braking power that you need. Another thing you should check and ensure is always in place is make sure that you have this flick back on your throttle. You don't want to have your throttle you can roll it back and it just slowly returns. You don't want that, because it's gonna leave. Yeah, sorry about that, there was an airplane passing, as you guys might have heard. Yeah, you don't want to have your throttle not being this quick, like a quick flick back. It needs to be a really quick flick back to ensure that whenever you come off your throttle, it goes back to the to the relaxed position, so that when you come off your throttle, you want to come off your throttle. You don't want your throttle coming off itself. So ensure that your spring back mechanism on your throttle is working properly. That is also something really important. Thirdly, you want to make a general check of all your bolts, ensure that they're all well and tight. Also, you might want to every now and again screw out a couple of the bolts that you find will come into contact with the elements a bit more, or more often than the others, just to ensure that they're not rusting, or they're not getting stiff in their threaded positions. You can also check your air filter. A lot of guys have backfiring going on and misfiring going on. Part of the reasons for that could be that your air filter needs to be changed. You also check the breather body to ensure that there's no dust or no sand. I actually discovered a bit of sand lodged in this corner of mine. I already cleaned it out, that's why I have these tissues here. And another practice is, as you can see, I removed my throttle cable. It is good to inspect your throttle cable to ensure that it's properly lubricated, because if it's not, it will tend to break ever so often. So what I do is I would put some oil in one end and then turn it upside down and have it, or just turn it so that the oil can start trickling down, so that the inner part where the actual metal cable is well lubricated. Apart from that, you do general inspections. You check the disc for your brakes to ensure that there are no grooves. You want to check to ensure that there is enough padding on your brakes. As you guys can see, my padding is actually just about done. I really need to change these brake pads. I already ordered them, they're on the way, they're in the mail. So yeah, you want to ensure that your brake pads have enough meat on them. I actually disconnected my back brake just so I don't have the subconscious temptation to hit the back brake, and then you know this pad is already low. It's probably gonna have a very detrimental impact on the brake, digging into it and leaving a groove or a trench. So we don't want that. So instead of sacrificing my brake plate, my brake disc, I decided to disconnect my back brake. So right now I'm only on front brakes. It's a bit of a skillful and equally dangerous tactic, but I know what I'm doing. So you know, I sacrifice back brake to ensure that I save my disc. General inspections on your tires. That's another thing that I need to change. As you can see, my tires are well grinded. Please do not roast me about my chicken strips. I'm getting there. You ensure that your exhaust is well mounted. It's well stiff. It's not, you know, shaky or whatever. That just means that you have good connection. Alright, you check your seating bolts to ensure that they're well and stiff. You periodically check the voltage in your battery to ensure it is not there. You can also do a check on your starter solenoid to ensure it's not weak. There are many YouTube videos that tell you how to check your starter solenoid to test it to ensure it's not weak. You might want to check your connections as well. You want to check your connections as well and ensure that there's no dirt, there's no sand or any of the sort, you know, like wedged in between there. You get a electrical spray, and you spray them out. Keep them well and clean, because you know electricity and these bikes tend to catch fire when things start to short out and you know short circuit or whatever, so you don't want that. But yeah, I just thought I'll make this video to let you guys, for those I know personally from riding with a group of individuals, that you know these things might seem simple. Another plane. Yeah, apparently we got a lot of planes leaving today. So while I paused the video, I did remember one other very important component that you have to periodically check. Check the tension on your chain. My chain actually needs to be tensioned a little bit, but you want to have between 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch of play in your chain. You don't want it too slack and you don't want it too tight. If it's too tight, obviously it's going to stretch easier and it might put a bit of a strain on your transmission. If it's too slack, it's going to cause the bike to be laggy and it stands a better chance of slipping and ultimately bursting, because whenever you, especially in the first gear, when you pull off, it can put quite a shock load on the links of the chain. It's more susceptible to being ruptured. Alright, so yeah, that's basically it. I just thought I'd make this video to let you guys know, you know, and like I was saying, I know from riding with a couple of guys that these things might seem simple, but a lot of riders overlook them. A lot of riders take them for granted, and you don't know the importance of simple maintenance on your bike until you're in a situation where, you know, you wish you had. These things are very easy to overlook, and you can get caught up going on frequent rides, riding for long periods of time without doing the simple checks on your motorcycle. This is a machine. It does not heal. It will need to be serviced. It will need to be maintained. It will need to be inspected every now and again. So it's very important that you keep those checks. You know, you can do them every quarter. You can check them every 3 months. Once you do them the right way, you won't have to check them as often, but it never hurts to look. You got a free day, you don't really find yourself doing much on that day, you can just take the time to inspect your bike, you know, look in some places. Every time you check, you can check a different place, and sure, you know, because they look little and they look compact, but there are a lot of different components and you might just miss something. So anyway, I just wanted to make this video for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like the video if it helped you out a little bit or any at all. Sub to the channel for more videos, and I will see you guys in the next one.